Welcome to the world of tomorrow!
Hey, welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. I'm your host, Toy Guru Neitlich. I'm a former brand manager of Masters of the Universe and a lifelong Masters of the Universe collector, and I get a lot of questions about the future of the brand. We're obviously in an interesting time now in 2021, and looking back, there has been a lot of iterations of Masters of the Universe of the years. Some have been popular, some less popular, some have made money, and some have just been there. Well, we're about to enter a new phase in the life of the brand because there's going to be a new show on Netflix coming in September of 2021, which is a CGI show called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And it's very much aimed at kids. So obviously He-Man has been aimed at kids before, and that's where the money is. So I want to kind of look at this show now that a new trailer has dropped and everyone's been asking me in the comment section what I think. Well, for starters, for this very kid-aimed show, it's full of kids. Yep, all of the Masters are now children, or preteens, young teenagers. We have a group of characters who discover magic or power that transforms them into Masters of the Universe. Of course, there's Prince Adam, who we all know is going to become He-Man. There is, I'm assuming, Duncan, Man-at-Arms, Ram Woman, Ram Man, and the Sorceress, I think. I think I've decoded all those characters, and Cringer's there too. And all of them together make up a team that are the Masters of the Universe, and He-Man, it looks like, is going to be the team leader, and they're all master of something: destruction, magic, technology, the wild, and they all get to power up with Mega Man, Metroid-esque cool techno suits that let them blast and shoot powers and, stuff. Oh, and yeah, and Orko's there too, except this time he's, I guess he's a robot?
To be young again, and also a robot.
Alright, so obviously Prince Adam is the star of the show, and he has a power sword, and he reads a magic scroll on the power sword because, hey, why not? And in a very familiar transformation, he turns into the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man, complete with brand new chest symbol with an H and an M because, He-Man does really need a symbol that kids can recognize since that Iron Cross isn't working anymore in today's, modern a-go-go age. And he's kind of like, well, I guess Captain Marvel, Billy Batson, sort of like the Shazam movie. Although, from what I can tell in the trailer, I would equate it most with the Justice League Unlimited version of Captain Marvel. And yes, I'm calling him Captain Marvel. That is what they called him on the show. Where he was going around high-fiving superheroes because he was really kind of a 10-year-old in an adult's body. And it feels like that's kind of what they're going for with He-Man as well, where he's got Adam's personality in sort of a big, giant adult body. Although when the other kids transform and get their weapons, they're still kind of teenagers, but very well-armed teenagers. And of course, you've got to have a bad guy, and it looks like Keldor is back, which is slightly confusing for the older adult collector because we've just been told in Revelations that Skeletor is no longer Keldor, but instead is from a race of skull-faced alien beings who are on another planet, dimension, something, and Skeletor has a wife and child that are also part of his species, and etc., etc., etc. You can go see the other videos on my channel or Midnight Edge's channel for the whole scoop on that. Regardless, Keldor's back and more Caucasian than ever, so I guess he's no longer a Gar, but he's still He-Man's evil uncle, who I guess will become Skeletor for reasons. So, you've got definitely some classic He-Man v Skeletor battling action, which we're all craving, and we meet Skeletor's flunkies like Trapjaw, who has a very big jaw, and Beastman, who has a very big beast hand, because, again, reasons. And the kids are all obviously on some quest for some kind of castle, probably named Grayskull, and they're cute and adorable, and, well, they've got those big, giant Disney frozen princess eyes that sell merchandise so well. And there's a lot of humor, too. At least you could tell in the trailer that there's humor where, people ignore each other's advice and walk through portals. All right, so why do I think that this is the new hope for the Masters of the Universe brand? And no, I don't mean it's like the new Star Wars movie, I just mean it literally is the new hope, like the phrase, not the movie. So to understand that, let's look at what's different about this iteration of Masters of the Universe from the previous. Like on Pesach when we say, why is this show different from all other shows? Well, I don't think that's one of the questions. All right, well, the reason is because it has a target audience, and it's delivering specifically at that target audience. It's not kind of all over the map trying to be a 4-quadrant movie. And that target audience is it's trying to sell into kids. And that's really, really, really important, not only to the success of the show, but the future of the property.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
So why kids? Well, not only because they're the ones who will be watching the show, but they're the ones who buy the product. See, kids play with toys, or at least we hope they still play with toys in a screen age. But while we love Masters of the Universe as adult collectors and putting figures behind glass to never touch them again, kids interact with toys. And when He-Man was a billion-dollar brand, it's because it was selling them to children, not to adult collectors, because we were those children playing with the toys. And this is why the show is very important. Things like the 2000X show tried to be aimed at kids, but kids didn't get into it. But it wasn't an adult collector-aimed show. So the secret formula is really all there. It's very much got those elements for kids, things like a team of aspirational heroes. And the heroes are young, and that's very important. When you look at heroes kids look up to, like, say Batman and Robin, as cool as Batman is, and obviously we all love being Batman because he's got gadgets and a car and a cowl and stuff, Robin is way more aspirational than Batman for a child. The reason is because a teenager is much closer to a child versus an adult. So kids can see themselves as a teenager much more than they can an adult. And then another interesting thing about it is the whole no idea wasted in the toy industry. So I've mentioned this in a few other videos. A perfect example is Iron Jaw here from Big Jim in the 1970s. A lot of work went into him. He had a cool action feature. He had interchangeable arms with different attachments. And as cool as he was, he never shipped. So that's very disappointing for a designer who spent a lot of time on it. Well, what do? They recycle that idea into another line they're working on, and the idea becomes Trapjaw and does ship and becomes a very popular character. So I know from being in the toy industry that designers, marketing managers don't like to waste ideas. And a few years ago, Mattel was working on a Max Steel project. It did happen, but it wasn't that successful, at least from a monetary and sales standpoint. And in this new iteration, Max was going to have this big transforming suit that could do everything from Hulk out to go underwater or go into space. Essentially, it could transform based on whatever battle he was going to go in. So Steel was the robot, Max was the guy in the robot suit, and together they made up Max Steel. Awesome. But like I said, a lot of work went into this, and it didn't really do that well. Sprinkle on top of that, as I mentioned earlier, the sort of big-eye Disney Monster High, kind of Ever After High, big eyes that they all have, because, hey, it sells dolls and it sells toys. So there's a lot of elements there that are really going to appeal to kids and ideas that have been tested out. And for adult collectors, with the Revelation show sort of being a hit and miss, and maybe more of a miss than a hit, due to kind of the woke agenda that a lot of people see in it. And I'm not denying that that's there. I just happen to like the show because I find it entertaining as a sort of what-if storyline. That is the all He-Man storyline. And then, of course, there's Origins, the other MOTU line out at retail right now. And as great as this is, as I was saying about that whole target audience, it's kind of aiming dads who grew up with the brand and kids, so you're kind of winding up with this sofa bed thing. And when you don't have a clear target audience, you're left scratching your head. So as adult collectors, when you see those toys, don't say, this is not my He-Man, because it's not for you, it's for the kids. And that's why I'm excited, because it's a brand for kids, with product designed for kids, with a show designed for kids. Kids are going to be the future of MOTU no matter what. They have to be. So having a show that's aimed at them is the best hope for the brand to continue. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was a good look at what we might expect from the CGI show and toy line. Hopefully kids will like it, because that means more He-Man for all of us. Leave a comment below, leave a bell ring and a subscription too. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.